Isha, 10 years old. I told my uncle, to my mama, and daddy leave.
I've been sick. I know well that time they are sick for 3 days. So now this man can greet me and no answer. I lay down inside. Now they me picking tell him. He say, Mama, let go na do. By then 5 o'clock. I say, Aisha. He say, Mama, let go na do. I want go study. I say, Aisha. I say, me why they come on a pandisan? I they feel like I say na pepper in my body. I dey Aisha say, Mama, let go. Say me I dey go study. Yeah. And then I say, okay, let go. What crap now? What? I know see. I know see the man. I know see Aisha.
Nice Aisha follow me, not I say I need follow you. Nice so nine take me 9 load by motor, nine go to me 9 hoes. When go to me and nice Aisha come, me man no one good. Nice Aisha come and me back now go. So I didn't know more now we go inside. I pull into us this and put on the box and one pull by me the door say not that I say no, I say me I afraid from me mama. Now she pulled up by me. Now I beg for fat not left me. Now she blood beg for come up by me. Now didn't got me no more.
Before then, the 7:30, he count the picking back. We count no more, nothing. I did the picking telling me, say, Mama, I know well. I say, Aisha. I say, me know well, you back, you know well. All day today, no sick. I say, lay down. I can't give you mercy. So, me don't put the thing there. I thought me picking body. It wham! Beyond this picking, been the bleeding up and this man and me, I don't know nothing. I didn't even say, let you load the picking for the matchaba. Let you get and go back on instruments. Now I say, I start full lie. I say, direct na hospital. And to reach na hospital no more. I say, I love candle. We see now, say with the candle. Now they just tell me, say, Mama, I love to come up and ask. So now they I pack the thing there for la go broke. We don't bleed all night. In the manner before they come up broke. Now I'm meeting her. Then don't arrest her. Then get her go. Now woman right. In Ghana for ask me now. Woman right now, make me not able to know say this man don't do bad by me.
Aisha. Huh? Until you get your problems, you said tell me about how you feel.
So I dey feel me leg the air inside me private na that I dey feel.
Okay. I will come explain to my boss so that I will call her and tell her. From there I will go hospital. Let doctor said go watch. It's not the problem, yeah? Kasek, they involve a lot. So like we provide them, say for buy 2 pints blood, the pikin be admit now hospital up to a week. From there, they support the case, they monitor the case, till the pikin discharge, you better buy medicine then. Till we dey monitor and from magistrate court up to high court, up to when they commit the case. So.
Aisha, how are you?
Fine.
How do you feel?
For what baby I dey feel the pain from Welt, baby Isha private again art.
Okay, so how long you don't feel this pain?
From this case will that be done and for that I dey feel the pain.
Okay. As you know, say this case been coming in a very severe state. As we know, when them is sexually harassed by 56 years old, that time be 8 years, 2 years ago. Them out at the hospital, they bleed profusely. As you said, know, in private parts been damaged, who been put on a theater and been getting blood. So from then, okay, for the past 2 years, the complaint is then complications here, as we be expecting again for develop some complications as a result of the assault, so then be assault. And up to now, we getting complications there. We need to do more investigations and see what they do. If the things still continue, I think we need to send them free time and do more investigations there.
From January to December, the sexual abuse cases they already report. March we get 16, April we get 29, May we get 16. That case they have been case where they may bring here, they may report and to be precise on the 10th of May 2015. They may try for bribe the police with 5 million leones, so that at least that's been for B, so that for silence the police, the person, a powerful person in this society, powerful in the sense that a person will get money. So then they look at and say, with that kind of position and if money where this person gets, you go influence this investigation so that at least we don't go charge to court.
They can't give me back one house plan. We then give me no money. They are Kerango State Council. And they say, let can give them the paper. And they will give. And they then pay for me the bike. I go give them back the one way give me. The man and woman, I ain't give me back and they are okay. Because this, they don't pay for our money in our hospital all. Which the man, is like them can't differ. We hearing now case, na more tell man I see. The service man they opened on me. What? 9 days complete within our hospital. It's why the woman then they born, na then they go keep her. Me then na my own apartment. In then na my own apartment. The nurse then they talk for me. They say me I don't sell the picky. Pa one grand picky.
Then make indictments for them quick. So I'll be surprised why. Well, later now can't see a businessman, a man will get money. And when the case starts, first of all, the medical loss. So now I go meet the register after the court. I ask, can I see na administrative lapses? I say then go fena. So we not see on the other day where they adjourn the case, we not see. So like myself one not see, and I can meet the human rights chairperson. Now explain yeah. Now what I tell her now they all go there with in troop there. So let them go ask the people there. Why with the medical business. So later analysis say they're able to see the medical because of the intervention of the human rights people there. And I court office itself it delay small because it take up close to 3 years where because from 2014 where the incident be happening past this 2016 and they convict the case for 15 years. So like we self be happy.
This is not that cassette I buy for now. Not to show them the talk, then picking them. Say lunch hour, they go sit on a corner, they study, eh?
We have the epidermis. Epidermis is the outer layer, not so? The outer layer of the skin is called what? Epidermis. Very correct. The inner layer is called.
I make me back again. I say, Isha. Like I say, the lamb book. But what you want in your heart, not to me, want her. So show me by way learn a book. What they do? You say in a nurse work. Now they do. So me back at the mental of like learn book. Because if you not learn a book, you know able to do nothing. Not the world. The pain. Where the picking the mona the picking. Then I don't confuse me back.
Yes, compensation dey for any sexual offences act where somebody don't commit, where a perpetrator don't commit and then find am guilty out of medical and the witness there. Most of the one that they convict some of them 14 years, 15 years, like this one are 15 years and convict her for. The judge not be compensate the man. Not to the first case this way they do this. For all the sexual cases they were don't they monitor, where CASEC don't they support. none of them cases there, I don't ever see them compensate any one of the victims.
No, they make